Hey everybody, Mark here, going to do a build tutorial of the Computer Monitor Catapult Prank. This is actually the newest design. This is considered the XL version. Some people were asking online for a bigger version, and the idea is go big or go home if you're going to pull off this prank. So this is actually the bigger version of the standard model. These files will be available online. And the build with both of them is almost identical, just these parts are a little bit bigger. So let's go over the parts in the assembly. You have the basket. The basket is 100 by 50 by 30, so it's almost 2.5 times the volume of the standard. To get more material in, you have the left and the right supports. These are just supports for the arm. Where all the action happens, this is the spring. It's all 3D printed. So you don't have to have any rubber bands or anything. The power is within the spring mechanism. The base plate, just a standard base plate, and a trigger arm. And this trigger arm is a little bit different than the previous one. If you can see, I actually cut out some material so you didn't have to print that whole thickness. So this is a thinner version of the trigger arm. So to assemble, it's really quick and easy. How I assemble is there's 3 different ways. Either you can use solvent weld, if you're using plat or ABS. You can use a glue, or my preferred method for this one, an iron. So if you have an old soldering iron or a hot rework tool, the material is actually a little bit thicker, as you'll see, to assemble, and you actually can melt the plastic down. This is very common with some plastic toys that you'll find. They will weld the plastic together, so you don't have to use screws or hardware. Again, this shouldn't be taken apart once you build it, so that's why I prefer the iron. So let's show you how to assemble it. So first thing that you'll need to do is clean up any of the parts and make sure they all fit neatly together. Getting the left-hand assembly right here, push the spring into place, and it should be pretty tight. I mean, there is a little bit of gap spacing, but you guys think it might go in like, you might want to put it in like this because that's where it stops. No, actually, we want to go past where the base is, and this will give you a little bit more strength or a little bit of pre-tension for the projectiles to be thrown a little bit faster. Next is a trigger arm. Trigger arm just slides right over this post, and make sure that it's nice and it can turn easily. If you get the shade on the post, do it, or make this hole a little bit bigger. Then getting the top plate, slide it over. There you go. So putting the top plate over, now we're actually going to do the base plate. So pulling the trigger arm all the way over, lock it into place, and put the base on. And the base has a bunch of holes in the bottom, so it might be a little bit harder to get in. But once you have the base in, hold it with your backhand to make sure the trigger's still in. And you'll see that these posts, you might be able to see how these posts stick out a little bit. I just use my heat gun or my soldering iron, and I will weld them into place. Very simple, right? So you don't have to have hardware, screws, nuts, bolts. Everything that you print, you should print it and it will work. So we'll do this bottom one right here. All right. Once you have that done, now I move over to the spring mechanism, and I will weld this post to this base. Now weld this trigger post to this base. So there we go. It's all assembled, welded together, and ready to work. Now let's get the basket and attach it to the spring arm. As you'll see inside the basket, there's a couple of holes. and there's some pegs that stick out here. All you have to do is press it into place, and then getting your soldering iron, heat it up. And there we go. There is the XL Computer Monitor Catapult Prank.